Okay, guys. So I have the camera on, but what we're gonna have a conversation today. You okay back there, bud?
No.
You back there, bitch? You okay? I hear you coughing back. All right. What we're gonna have a conversation today is about the shooting in Texas. And the reason why I wanted to have this conversation with you today is because those were elementary students. Um, but I want to know what you feel about that. Now, who was the one that said um, you said parents who have to go to,
Yeah.
what did you say earlier? Say it again.
I said 19 parents had to like feel
Chad
how
needs to
they
take a seat
how their
with us.
kid would die, and like 19 parents had to separate out their child for the rest of their life.
Yeah.
So
And it's not something that you think about when you drop your kid off at school, that now you're going to have to pick them up. My wife and I had this conversation. You know, they don't give out any information when they call you, or you hear it over the radio, or you hear it if you're at work. They don't tell you who the kids are. So tell me what you think was going through some of the parents' mind as they're getting from wherever they are now coming to the school, not knowing that information. What do you think they were thinking? Go ahead.
um I they was like just praying that it wasn't their child, but when they got there and found out their child, it was like that's shocking, and they were like, that ain't cool.
Yeah.
And like I don't understand why a 19-year-old would shoot up an elementary school. Like, why do you have problems with elementary school? That's basically 10-year-olds and under.
Yeah, because it was up to fourth or fifth grade, so you're only talking about 9, 10, maybe 11-year-old at best. So you're right. I don't know. They haven't put out any information to tell us anything yet, but that is a question that folks come up with. Like, why would he take it out on children? Now, what I saw, I don't know if it's true. They're saying that he was bullied at one point about how he dressed or the clothes that he was wearing. But what do you mean dress better? No, it's okay. Listen, you're free to think any way that you want. I'll deal with that in a second. But here's the thing. It goes to what was just said. But what could the elementary kids have said to you?
Exactly. He was just in high school.
Well, what I said, like just better, like maybe his parents was like going through some stuff and like couldn't buy like the best clothes, and maybe he had to wear the same clothes every day. I don't know the situation, but like knowing that, it's just like that you don't have to just because you got bullied doesn't mean you older now. Like I don't think he was getting bullied now. I ain't older, so like why
don't
go
know.
back? It's not like it's the same kids that bullied you when you was in elementary school. So it was just innocent kids.
Makes sense. You other guys back there that's quiet. What's your thoughts on when you heard about the situation? What were y'all thinking? Huh? You just found out today? Really? So what'd you think when you found out today? Nice and loud, I can't hear you. But I want your thoughts on, let's do this. What's your thoughts on, go ahead.
One thing that I'm thinking, like, he's basically an adult now. He doesn't have to worry about people, like, talking about his clothes because he was in school every day when he was in high school.
Mm-hmm.
That's how he could have got bullied. But now he's an adult. He doesn't have to stand with that treatment. He can actually just walk away without anybody saying anything.
I got you.
So I don't understand, like, why he got so mad at some little elementary school kids that didn't even know what was going on with him. They might have said something. They could have said something while he was walking by, but he could have just walked away.
How many of you have younger brothers and sisters? Okay. So when you hear about elementary age kids, that's fifth grade and down. That's the next age down from you guys here. Knowing that you have brothers and sisters, how does that make you feel about your brother or sister when you hear about somebody actually killing kids that age? Come on, let me hear from some of the other guys. Bad in what way? Explain it to me.
Horrible.
Okay. Did any of y'all get scared for yourselves? Did any of y'all worry about coming to school?
Yeah.
Tell me about that. Go ahead.
You remember like the time where like they said like they're gonna shoot up Delaware school. I was so scared to come to school, so I didn't.
I remember we were here.
Yeah, I didn't come to school for like 2 days, I think.
Yeah, it was the Caesar Rodney. They had put the information out on what's the name? Yeah, and it was they were nervous because they had contacted me and said, you know, Mr. B, be on the ready if we need you to come speak to different groups of kids because they weren't sure if it was real or not, but they honestly believed that someone had sent a note that they were going to shoot up the schools, and I can understand you being scared. So when you get scared like that and you stay home, how do you get over that to come back to school to be okay? How did you get over it?
Me, I just like put the extra shirts on.
Okay.
For the bullet to
No, listen. Hold on. You gotta understand it's the idea behind it. No, the shirt is not gonna stop a bullet. But if that's gonna help him to feel comfortable to come back to school, these are the things you have to think about because these are different times. I gotta be honest with you. I never had to deal, I don't even remember any shootings in the school when I was your age. I can't. I don't remember. I remember seeing like foolishness like that on television and movies, but I don't ever remember ever having to deal with a shooting when I was younger. Now, they're happening on a regular. 200 something have happened already just this year. But I remember when Columbine happened, and I remember how things changed because I was teaching then. Yeah, I've been teaching since 1994, something like that, 94, 93. Go ahead.
Questions like basically what you said about like how would you feel if like how like you know the elementary schools are getting shot up now, and like since you have younger siblings, to keep it a buck, but how I feel like if it's not like close to my siblings' elementary school or close at the elementary school, I feel like it's really not my problem.
I got you. So if it's not something that affects,
I feel bad, but it's not my problem.
no, I got you. And listen, be real with your feelings. So if it's not directly connected to your family, you don't think about it as much. That's what you're saying.
Yeah, just
Okay. Go ahead, Chad.
So what I think, like,
Move up some. Sit back
you know how there are shootings in New York
Yeah.
just recently, and now this happened. What I'm thinking, like, if something happened, somebody else followed, and after Texas, somebody else from like Michigan or somewhere might shoot up a school, and then it'll keep happening over and over again.
Possibly. Those are called copycats. Those are called copycat situations where people see it and then they want to copy it, or people are having those conversations because I don't know if you remember the guy in Buffalo since you brought it up. He was actually on Twitch. He went live. He wanted the people in his circles to see him go kill people of color. He went live.
He did.
And also, you see him on video where he was about to shoot a man and the guy had his hands up and he realized he was white and he said, "Oh, I'm sorry." And then he went back on to keep shooting people. And I don't know if you guys know this, but in the AR-15, the bullet is about this big. And it's filled with gunpowder and it's designed to go through clothes, a uniform, bone, everything. It's designed to destroy whatever it hits. And guys are taking these into supermarkets, schools, and unfortunately in this last situation, I don't know what the weapon was, but I cried because the idea of, I have a child, 8. My daughter's 8. So the idea that I would have to come to the school and not know if she's been hurt, but then have to find out that even if she's okay, that some of her classmates are no longer here, that was tough for me. Because, like you said earlier, who sends their child to school for something like this to happen? So let me ask you this question, because this is the big question all over the country. Should there be guns in school?
No.
Ben, I saw you shake your head. Hold on a second. Come on, Ben. You said no. Why not? Talk to me. Nice and loud.
Okay, if you carry around a gun in school, they'll see you as a lunatic or someone who's just out their mind and not thinking.
Well, what they mean is more the teachers. Like, in the classroom would be a locked box that the teacher would have access to. So if something happened, the teacher would be able to arm themselves. Are you okay with teachers? Let's go with teachers first because that's the first conversation. Are you guys okay with teachers having access to guns so if somebody comes into the building, the teachers can get the guns and use them? Go ahead and then you. Come on.
I actually approve that.
Really? Okay. Tell me why.
Feel like if the guy's coming in with a gun or like a something like that,
Mm-hmm.
like the teacher has like the right to protect themselves.
Okay.
Like you know, like when they're hiding back there to like help and the person has a gun
Okay.
and like the jump on them, like that's not gonna help.
Okay. So you approve of guns being in school for teachers to have access to it?
Yeah, but only teachers.
Only teachers.
Only teachers.
Okay. Come on. You had your hand up.
I say no
No.
because
Why not?
like according to what he said, like to protect themselves, but there's no real point in protecting yourself because what if the teacher does actually shoot the shooter? He'll still get charged because there's no self-defense laws in Delaware.
Well, if they agree or approve for guns to be in the building, the teacher wouldn't get in trouble if they're using it if there's an active shooter. If they approve something like that, you would be allowed to kill the person or harm the person badly, I guess, if they approve that. My question to you guys as students, are you okay with a gun being in the classroom and the teacher having access to that if there is an active shooter coming into the building? You and then I'm gonna come back to you. Finish up. Come on.
So one more thing. It depends on what type of gun it is, really.
Why does that make a difference to you?
Because a high caliber gun, like you wouldn't really need a high caliber gun in school, like an AR or something, for like a school shooter or protection. You would like need a small firearm or whatever.
So you think it's okay? So let me get this right because I want to make sure I hear you right. So you're saying it's okay if a teacher has access to a handgun, but you don't. You have a problem if the teacher had like an AR-15 in the classroom or something like that.
Yes.
Okay, interesting. Come on, and then Mitch, I got you back there. Come on. Go ahead, ask
Why
it.
is it a problem that they got like an air? I'm not saying. I also agree with him that like you shouldn't really have it, but like why is it a problem?
Because those type of guns can carry like 60 round mags. And yeah, that's a lot of bullets.
Well, like,
And a lot of
if it's in a
firepower.
safety, I mean, if it's in a safe and nobody's messing and nobody's gonna touch it, I don't see why it's a problem. But it's like I'm really like two because
Because you don't need that type of firepower
you
to
don't
protect
you don't
yourself.
need it. But like, why is it a problem? Like, why not?
Because it's excessive and like, why put? Because like, what if like it depends on what type of case. Like if it's locked and like it's on the wall, then like if it's glass, like wouldn't it be like kind of dangerous?
No, let's go with that assumption. Let's say it's a metal lock box that could house an AR-15. Let's go ahead and say it. It's safe. It's locked up. Only the teacher would have the combination. Go ahead, take it from there. It's locked up, so we can take that off the table.
Like,
go ahead and finish your conversation.
Where is the key? Like in a drawer? Like where is
No,
the key?
the teacher would have, only the teacher and administration would have access. Like, only the principals, only the teacher. I'm sure that would be the case. It would be administration and the teachers would have access
Is
to
it
that.
like a key or?
It would probably be a combination or something like that.
All right then. That's
So you're okay with that?
Yeah, because if it was a key, like somebody could just come in and get the key.
So again, I want to make sure I hear everything you said. So you're saying you're okay with teachers having access to weapons in the school to prevent active shooting? Okay, next person. Come on. You had to ask him a question. What's your thoughts, though?
Like,
Are you okay with that? Yes or no?
yeah, I'm more than okay with it. Because
Wow. Okay. More than okay. Talk to me.
Only because like that's also our life's in jeopardy. Like I don't want to lose my life just because a stupid person wants to come in here and try to shoot the school up. I don't want
Okay.
to lose my life.
I respect that.
I honestly, if it was up to me, once you tell it the location of the shooter, go to the other location. Like I'm running out the building. I don't care what a teacher says to me. I'm really running out the building. I'm trying to save myself. I'm
Okay.
not saying I don't want to say like it was either me or John, whoever get out first. I'm not gonna lie, John. I'm sorry, but I'm gonna have.
No.
Leave it alone.
I respect where you're coming from. So
I'm not
if
actually
you
saying
hear
myself.
over the phone or walkie-talkie, the shooter is in the gym or on the other side of the building, that's your cue to go out the window or out the door. That's what you're saying. Okay. And that happens. No, that happens because in some schools, once they figured out that the shooter wasn't near them, that's what a lot of kids did to flee and run out. So there's nothing wrong with that. Come on, some of you other guys, come on. Yeah, go ahead.
Saying
Go ahead.
when he comes back.
What's your thoughts? Go ahead. What's your thoughts when you come back? What's your thoughts? Yes, it's okay to have guns in school, or no, you don't think it's a good idea?
No, because adults can shoot up schools too, and you never know what day they might be having, and that some teachers are racist too. So they
Wait a minute. Let me make sure I heard you right. You don't agree that guns should be in the classrooms because teachers could shoot up some things.
Oh yeah, they shouldn't be in the class.
And some teachers are racist and you don't know what they're going to do. Okay, I feel that. So let's expound on that. Let's continue. Hold on a second. Let him continue. What makes you think that way about some of the teachers that you've dealt with to make you feel that way?
Substitute teacher.
No, let's let him speak. Go ahead.
in what way are you asking that?
I'm asking what you just said. You're saying that guns shouldn't be available to teachers because you said teachers may be having a bad day and shoot somebody up, or that some teachers are racist. So I just want you to tell me what made you think like that. That's interesting. I mean, you're entitled to your opinion. I want to know more why you think that way. That's interesting.
Because it's
Stop, Chad.
because adults are not that innocent. They can be bad too. It's not just kids that shoot up schools.
Wow, interesting. Okay, I like that. So not just kids are bad, that you got some teachers out here who may not have it all together. Okay, interesting. Next two I haven't heard from. Come on, talk to me. No, you shrug your shoulders. Come on. So do you think, yes or no, that guns should be in the classroom, or do you think they should or shouldn't be? And tell me why.
I think they should be
You think they should be, and why?
because the adults can use protect in the classroom themselves also.
Okay, got you. And would you feel comfortable knowing that the teacher has a weapon to be able to protect you if that was going on?
Yes.
Okay. And why do you feel that way? I mean, you're entitled. And, there's no wrong answer, so I don't want you to think it's wrong. It's okay. I like to hear everybody's opinion, so don't be nervous. Just go ahead and tell me.
Because depending on the person or the adult themselves, if they have it right, you will know that you're safe around them.
Okay. Got you. That makes sense. And that's one of the arguments that's being made in the country is that if trained teachers knew how to use the weapons, maybe they could stop some of these shooters before they shoot and everything. So that's actually not a bad argument because that's one of the arguments being made. So, Ben, come on, I'll get you, Mr. Ben, come on. What's your thoughts? Excuse me.
Bro,
It's okay. Shh. Ben, go ahead. Remember, when somebody's talking, respect it. Come on, Ben. Benjamin, I'm sorry, you told me don't say that. Benjamin, let's go. I forgot. I remember. Or it's Ben or Benjamin? Ben, I'm sorry. I was calling you Benjamin. You said Ben. All right, I want to make sure I got it right. Come on, Ben. What's your thoughts?
There are most teachers who are dedicated to protect children, and there are some teachers who don't. So I think the thing that they should do is probably they can ask the teachers a series of questions of what they did in the past or what they want to do in the future.
Okay, so hold on. So I want to make sure I got this right. So Ben, you're saying some teachers do protect kids and some teachers don't. So you're saying they should do some type of background check or some type of, assessment to what a teacher has done in their life to get an idea if they're the person that should be allowed to the gun? Is that what you're saying?
Yeah.
Okay. And so create some type of test or something for them to go through to see if there's somebody that should have the weapon. So then are you saying you agree that guns should be in schools or they shouldn't be? Which one?
I agree.
You agree that guns should be in schools. But with what? But with the training, I want to make sure I got that right. So if they're trained, they should be in the schools.
Yeah.
Okay. Got you. Mitch, you had your hand up. Yeah, go ahead.
Why don't they just put more than one cop for self-defense at a school?
That's an interesting question. Why don't they put more than one cop in the school? And you know what's interesting with that? In New York, you have school safety, which means you have 2, 3, or 4 school safety agents in every building. And you have a cop in, especially in the high school, you have a cop that's in the schools all the time. Chair. So you have school safety, uniformed agents who walk around the building, have handcuffs, they just don't carry guns. And then you have one officer who walks around the school who does have a weapon. So you normally, when I was a dean, you normally would have about 5 or 6 or maybe 7 people who are in uniform that could help if something. And high schools and some junior high schools in New York have metal detectors. So you cannot come in like the beginning of the day, everybody is lined up going through the metal detector, and that changes things as well in New York. But that's not the case in other parts of the country. So that's interesting. Y'all got me today because I didn't think that y'all would go that route. So I have to say, I understand where everybody's coming. Now I got to tell you, I'll give you my thoughts, right? I actually don't want guns in school. And I'll tell you why. Stop tapping that cup, boy. I don't want guns in school because I think teachers are stressed enough. And I don't trust that in a high stakes situation like that, an active shooter, that we can be comfortable enough that a teacher's going to do what they're supposed to do at that moment. Also, what I'm scared about is that because teachers are very stressed and sometimes borderline depressed, you now have access to a weapon. And if things are not going well for you, how do we know you won't go to that weapon? How do we know some kid jump up in your face and you have a problem? And as you just said, Mitch, there's some racist teachers or there's some negative teachers, white and black, not just white, but there's some teachers of all colors that now have access to a weapon. So that's just me. But I'm glad y'all say that. That's actually pretty cool that y'all think that way. So do you believe this is a one-time? No, I want to ask this better. Yeah, go ahead. How do we stop this? What's your thoughts on how do we stop all these school shootings? I don't care how crazy you think your idea is. We don't know who may see this video, so here's what I want you to do. When you give your answer, I want you to look right here on the camera, and I want you to be as clear, as concise as you can. Don't worry about how crazy it sounds. We're going to start this way and go around. How do we change this for the future? What's your thoughts?
Basically, ban the gun law. Like no guns in houses, no guns anywhere. Or
Hold on, let him speak.
Like they can have knives and stuff, but no guns.
Now, you just did your project on George Washington. You do know that the Constitution allows people to have guns. So are you willing to take away people's constitutional rights?
Yes, I'm willing.
You're willing to lean up some,
Like,
because you might be a politician someday, so move up. You never know. So you're willing to take away the rights to own weapons. Wow. Okay. I'm not mad at that. Next person. The question is, how do we fix this problem with the shootings in school? What do you think is a solution to fixing the shootings in school? I don't care how crazy it is. Just tell me your thoughts.
You should change the law from like what the law is now to like where no teenagers or a certain age or adults can have it, and they have to have a background check. They have to make sure that they have any past criminal.
Okay. Nice. Okay, so let me make sure, because that's interesting. Okay, so make an age limit for guns. Do you have an age?
30.
30. Wow. Okay, so you got to be 30 years old or older to have a gun.
Because if you think about it,
Uh-huh.
there's still people who are in their 20s still, and they're still having problems in life, and if they have a gun with them with no proper use, no trains or anything, they will use it for their own use.
Interesting. I like that. Okay, so 30 years or older to get a gun. Change the laws so everybody gets a background check. Okay, so you can't even think about a gun until you're 30. And then at 30, you have to do a background check to see if you can actually have a gun.
Yes, and have proper usage.
Okay.
You're actually going to use it for your own safety and have actual, like, be able to use it and go to, like, shooting ranges to make sure they're actually using it right.
So they have to be trained.
Yes.
I like that. All right, you might turn out to be a politician. That's a great answer. Go ahead, next person. That's actually a real good answer. Change the laws, over 30, must be trained, and background checks. Might have to send that to Congress. Go ahead, next person. Come on, Mitch. What's your thoughts? How do we change this? How do we prevent this from happening again? What's your thoughts? You can't. You honestly believe that? Okay, tell me why. And it's okay. Listen, whatever your thoughts are, it's respected. Why do you feel we can't change that?
Because whatever you do to like try to help something, something will always have to go bad.
Wow.
Like,
Okay.
Like somebody might be like very good at sticking something in, and they might just sneak the gun in. Like
No, but that's a great point, and I really appreciate you being honest, because you're saying with the way it is right now, you don't see it changing because no matter what laws are in place, somebody will sneak and do something that's not right. Unless you teach the kids self-defense. Okay, let's go with that a second. How early or what age do you think we start teaching kids self-defense? Because that's an interesting one, so talk to me. What age?
like
I'll get to you in a second.
at the age they're able to.
Okay, pick an age for me. Give me an example.
3 or 4.
3 or 4. Okay, so teach them how to use a gun at 3 or 4 years old?
Gun.
No, God, no.
Oh, you mean just self-defense? No guns, but self-defense. Okay, so how to defend themselves at 3 or 4?
Yeah.
Okay, no, that's not a bad thing. Listen, that's not a bad thing. So are you talking about knives or just like karate, judo, something like that? Or are you talking about knives?
Like how to stop a gun. You know, like the self-defense. How to.
Okay, I got you. So all the techniques, but not actual use of a gun. Okay, interesting. Go ahead. You had your hand up. What age?
Just like karate. I'm picking karate.
Okay.
Like at the age of 6 or like 5, you can like teach the boy karate lesson.
You know the Black Panthers did that. The Black Panthers started training a lot of the young Panthers in martial arts at very early ages just for that, to defend themselves. So there's some history to that. So that's actually, there's some great points, you guys. Ben, what do you want to add to this? Ben, how do we stop this, Ben? Talk to me, nice and loud.
They should like give people guns to like they should give guns to people who are actually responsible and trustworthy.
So you're okay with everybody having guns as long as they're trustworthy and can prove that they should have them?
Yeah.
Okay. So you're saying don't take the guns away, but give out more guns.
Well, I'm saying that like.
Take your time. No, take your time. There is no wrong answer, because I just want to know what you're thinking. There is no wrong answer, so don't feel pressured in your answer. Just tell me how you feel.
I think it should be like limited to no.
Okay. So I want to make sure I hear you right. Let people have guns, but up to a certain amount.
Yeah.
So how do we decide who is going to be the people that have those weapons? Like who? How do we decide when enough is enough? Like, how do we make that decision? And it's okay if you don't have an answer. I'm just thinking about what you offered, because that's actually an interesting one too. Because we're talking about how we could actually solve this problem. So I'm gonna come to you two guys in a second. So where we're at right now is Ben said, give people guns if they can handle them. So he wants to give out more guns, but to a limit. Because if more people, and I want to make sure, because I don't want to put words in your mouth. So you're saying give out more guns because if people are more trained, then that's more people that can stop situations like what happened in the school.
Yeah.
Okay, got you. All right, you two. Questions. How do we stop future shootings? That's the question. And it doesn't make a difference what your answer is. There's no wrong answer. Just what's your thoughts on how we prevent this going forward? We've heard age limits. We've heard one person say they don't think it's ever going to change. You had said ban guns, and then we actually hear give out more. So what's your thoughts? And it's okay, whatever your thoughts are.
School shooting in schools.
What can we do? What can we put in place that's going to help prevent future shootings like just went on in Texas?
Okay.
Huh?
So first.
1 second.
You want him to go first?
No, go ahead.
So first, like you know how like the people walk around the school with like guns, like the administrators.
Okay. You mean administrators don't walk around guns. You mean the resource, the cops that are in. I got you.
Like, and it's only one of them. Mostly on every school, it's only one of them. maybe add like at least 2 or 3.
Who
to
just
walk
said
around the
that?
school
Who
all
said
the
to
time.
add somebody else? Didn't somebody else say that earlier? To add another person? Ben said to add. Ben, did you say to add somebody else more in the building? Okay, I thought it was somebody. But go ahead. So you're saying add more. Would it be police or just security, or what are you thinking?
Police with like guns, like anybody with a gun, like a security guard with a gun,
Okay,
like 2 or 3 to walk around the school at all times.
Gotcha.
Like anybody that like walks up, no one. Alright, so it's gonna be 3. Alright, so one standing at the front entrance, and then the other 2 is gonna be like how they around the outside school.
Okay, so they're just doing rotations through the building, with one always at the front in case somebody's coming through the front door.
And that's easy money.
Okay, interesting. That's not a bad fix. We could tear that apart a little bit later, but that's an interesting one. Come on, Chad. I like that. I mean, it's interesting where your thoughts are coming at. So now you're talking about adding more guns to the building, but of trained individuals, but at least 1 at the door and 2 walking the floor. Okay, come on, Chad. Hold on one second. Hold on.
Like, or 1 in the front, 1 inside, and then 1 just walking.
Okay, no, whatever the combination is, that's fine. You're saying add 3, and is that 3 total or 3 more to the one that's already here, making it 4 total? 3 total. Okay, what you want to add to what he said?
But what if like there's one in like like there's one right there and then there's like 2 in the back. Say that. And then there's like
I have a question. Why would there be 2 in the back though? It doesn't take 2 people with 2 people with guns to take down 1 person.
Well, I mean, whatever the combination is, I don't want you to get stuck up on that. Whatever the combination is, you just think 3 more guns, 3 guns should be in the building at all times in the event something happens, whatever the rotation is. All right, cool. Come on. Last person. Come on.
I feel like you know,
Lean over, son.
the principal
Uh-huh.
and the vice principals, they should have access to like weapons or
Okay.
some type of defense mechanism to like shut all the doors, like complete lockdown.
So you mean almost like metal doors or something drop down or something like that?
Because we have those, like complete lockdown.
Okay, so you're saying if the school doesn't have them, and again, anything is on the table. So you're saying add like drop down metal doors or a drop down metal door in the hallway or something like that.
We have those.
We do. Okay, so you're saying principals should be able to hit a switch and everything starts to lock off.
Yeah,
and
that would like minimalize the casualties.
Okay, interesting. Now that's a pretty penny that's got to be spent, but that's an interesting one too. And I like all the ideas that you guys are coming up with. Interesting. Yes, go ahead. Nice and loud. Come on. Take your time before you offer. And again, the goal is we're just pondering right now, and we're just thinking out loud. Because again, as I said to you guys at the beginning, over the next couple of years, this is your life right now. You all have shelter-in drills, right? The shelter-in drills where you have those drills where you got to go hide in the back of the classroom. Those are shelter-in drills. And those are active shooter drills. Principal gets a code, something goes off, principal tells you, guys, everybody to the back corner. Here's the danger with that. Most young adults who are doing the shooting know that. They know that because now we've had so many years of active shooters, the shooters coming into buildings already know that during an active shooter, they're not going to be in line with the door, that they're always back in the corner. And I always worry about that because if in fear a teacher forgets to lock the door, you now could have a problem with that person just swinging open the door and here's a mass of people hiding in a particular area. No matter what this is, guys, it's scary. And I know it was very hard for me to think about because I've been in a building with an active shooter, not like Texas. I was just a young man with a gun.
He wasn't trying to hurt nobody?
We don't know. All I know is when they gave us the code, I think in New York it was, Mr. Washington is on the floor. Could somebody, go see him? And that was to let us know that there was a person on the floor. At that point, we went to lock the doors. And then it would be oh, we believe Mr. Washington's on the 3rd floor, guys. Can somebody check and see if he's there? That's to let us know where he's at. And I happen to be on the 2nd floor. And at that point, I said, all right, guys, come on. So the kids said, oh, that's what y'all say? Let's go. Come on over here and get inside. And we just stand there. And the crazy part is when you're trying to get kids calm, you got to remember to remain calm yourself. I had no problem with remaining calm, but in my thoughts was, what if he comes to this door? And that's why, for me, why I get emotional is because when I hear that the 2 teachers got killed trying to protect the kids, I understand what that is like or would be like, because that's your thoughts. When you're in a situation where you're like, I have all these children. I was teaching when 9/11 happened. And when 9/11 happened, I had a TV in my office in the gym. We watched the building fall. We watched when the plane hit the other building. And now everything was crazy. And the whole thing was, well, what are we going to do about these kids? So I can only imagine what's going through somebody's heart and head and everything when there's somebody actually shooting. Go ahead.
Was your school like close to like the building?
No, we were in Brooklyn. The buildings were in Manhattan, but where we were, we could see the smoke from the buildings. And in our school, we lost 20 or 30 parents. And 2 of the teachers, well, one was the assistant principal, another was a teacher, lost their spouses in the building. One was a fireman, the other one was a police officer who lost their lives in the building. And the saddest part of that whole day was one child lost both parents. So there was nobody to go home to. And what they did was they kept the schools open until 6, 7 o'clock. And they said, any teacher that wants to stay, please stay. I lived in the neighborhood. I had already ran and got my kids and took them home. So I went home, made sure they was good, and I came back to the school. And I was there until the school closed. And it was just one little kid sitting there. No one came to pick up. It was the hardest thing in the world. And then we had to go get their blue card, and we had to try to figure out what other family members we could call, because they didn't know any of the numbers to somebody else they could call. And so no one came. So you're seeing all these parents showing up at the school. Some still had the dirt on them from when the buildings fell, and they were coming to get their kids, and everything was just crazy. And now it's after 3, so a lot of teachers had left, and here's this one little kid sitting there shook up, and nobody came to get him. Go ahead.
What was the building like?
Twin Towers?
Yeah, like what was going on inside the building? Like what kind of company was it?
It was a bunch of companies. You're talking about 107 floors. You're talking about companies on every floor, multiple companies on every floor. And yeah, it was a skyscraper. And so the planes hit this building, it catches fire, and you had people that were trapped in the staircase, people that were trapped in the underground garage, and then this building falls in, and then the next building is hit by a plane, and that building's on fire, and you had people who were above where the plane hit, so they jumped out of windows because it was either stay there and get burnt up or jump out the window. So what were you going to do? It was a bad time. And so for me, when we talk about active shootings, I can only imagine what an educator is thinking when you're inside a building and you got to take care of somebody else's children. So anytime I hear of a teacher who gave their life to protect kids, I understand it. Because you just don't want to see the kids you're working with hurt. And that's 2 teachers that gave their lives up. So it's like, and then also what I think about is the other children that had to see this. I'm a counselor, but I don't even know where I start with that. Because how do you get a kid to say everything's going to be okay when they just watched somebody that they just had lunch with or just walked to school with? We know that grown men have PTSD when they go to war, right? We've all read that, heard about that. You guys understand that? Mm-hmm. Okay, it's called post-traumatic syndrome, where because they were exposed to some type of trauma, after the trauma's over, they have negative feelings, right? So now imagine what an 8-year-old, a 7-year-old, go ahead, a 10-year-old is going to be thinking now that they're in a classroom, scared to death, but there's someone laying next to them shot. Because I want you guys to understand what the kids, their parents, what everybody's dealing with. And I'm not saying it to scare you. Let me just say this right now. I'm not saying it to scare you. I'm saying it because I want you guys to think when you hear other people having conversations or even, God forbid, joking, I want you to be able to stop and say, that's not something to joke about. Go ahead. Yeah, give me 1 second. I'm about to turn this off before you go. So, before I turn this camera off, if there's a kid out there scared to death right now, what would you say to him? I'm going to go around the room. If there's a kid right now scared to go back to school, what would you say to him? If you're not sure, it's okay.
It's okay.
Move up some.
It's okay. You'll get through it.
Okay. Next. You don't really know. Thank you for being honest. Mitchie.
Life is life, people die.
Ooh. Ooh. Wow. Life is life, people die. It's real. Tough. Wow. Life is life, people die. I feel you, bro. And you know what's funny? I can't even be mad at that because that's real. Now, I don't know if I would say that to another kid, but I feel you. Life is life and people die. Come on. Ben. The world is not always what? The world is not always fair. That's an interesting one. The world is not always fair. Okay. What would you say?
I don't know either, but like to a younger kid or like kid my age.
Your age or younger, whichever one.
A younger kid, like, don't worry about it. This is not going to happen again. Even me not knowing if it's going to happen again or.
But you tell them that just to make them feel better? Okay. Do you think it's dangerous to tell them something that you're not sure of?
In certain situations.
I got you. All right. So listen, you guys have been great. Thank you so much for sharing this conversation with me. I appreciate you. So we're going to get ready to jump up out of here.